So I was at work and they have the TV always playing. And so I watch it, not really paying attention to it. But one thing that stuck out to me, and now that I think about it, has stuck out to me for maybe the past 2 years. I haven't seen a TV show, a movie, or an advertisement with just a regular couple or a regular family. What do I mean by regular? I mean the same race and straight. That's it. Why do I say that that is regular? I'm not trying to say that that's what's best. I'm not saying that that's what the world needs to aspire to. I'm not saying that that is everybody or that it should be everybody. The reason why I say regular is this, right? When there is a couple that is not the same race, what do we say? Interracial couple, cross cultural couple, and all these labels and names that just make it not a couple. It's an interracial couple. It's a cross cultural. It's a special couple, which is why it needs the name. What you're doing is making that couple not seem like a couple. If it was just a couple, call it a couple. We do the same thing with sexuality, right? When you see people that are not straight, people feel the need to the point where it's almost a habit to say a same sex couple, a gay couple, a queer couple, and all these things that people say. What are you telling me? What are you telling me when you have to explain using a special word that makes it different from just a couple? So now don't come to me telling me that it's not a regular couple. If it was a regular couple, you would call it a couple. But anyway, that's why I say regular. And I just noticed that TV shows, movies, advertisements, and also now that I go to the store and I'm seeing like ads, like Pampers on products and stuff, right? It's always got to be a mixed family on it, right? And it's always got to be a black parent and a white parent, right? That just seems to be the go-to for these directors or the people who call the shots. And to me, it's just weird. It's just weird, right? I walk outside, and I'm sure all of us walk outside. The norm is that you see regular couples, straight and the same race. That's what it is. That's what most people go for. And that's the world that we live in. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just like there's nothing wrong with not regular couples either. But it just feels like I can't go anywhere or I can't watch TV or even shows or anything. It's so clear that diversity is thrown into your face to the point where you almost just... If you can name me a movie made after 2018 that has just a regular couple, I will actually Venmo you $10. And I promise that. I'll Venmo you $10 if you could show me a movie, right? And not a small movie. I mean a big movie made by a big production house. I'll Venmo you $10. But that's besides the point. It just feels like it's in your face. And the reason why it bothers me is not because it's just representation. It's because it's gotten to the point where it's so in your face that it almost feels unrealistic. It's like a slap in the face. You walk outside and it's not the world that you live in. And they're doing so much to just shove it in your face. Like, really think about what goes on behind the screens. Think about what happens that you're not seeing, right? There's a director somewhere or whoever calls the shots who's saying, get me a black woman, get me a black man, get me a gay man, get me a Hispanic man, get me a disabled person, get me a woman. It's so obvious that they have this paper that has a checklist of things that they have to represent so that they don't look bigoted. And God, honestly, it feels like they're just casting all these people to check a box. That's what it feels like. That's what it comes across as. And it's disgusting. It's exploitative. And another thing, sometimes people go the extra mile and they try to show cultural awareness and they just try to represent people of other walks of life. And again, it's poorly done. It's poorly written. You can't just have a Mexican character anymore. It's always got to be some Latino character who's every third word is a word in Spanish. And it's annoying. Nobody actually talks like that. Unless you're one of those so far removed, Americanized Latino kids who feels the need to prove their Latino-ness to other people. Unless you're one of those people, you don't talk like that. And you know that. And the same goes for Asian kids, black kids, kids of different religion, kids of different sexuality. Just nobody behaves that exaggerated. Nobody. Literally anything. Nobody behaves like that. It just seems like on screen or in advertisement, they do the most to prove their ethnicity or their sexuality, and it's in your face. It seems like the biggest personality trait that these non-white, non-straight characters have is their non-white, non-straightness. And it just reduces them. Like, do you realize that? It reduces them to what makes them non-white or non-straight or what makes them exotic. That's backwards. That's not what diversity should be, and it's never what it was intended to be. In older movies, there were non-white, non-straight characters. But you know what? They were actually well-developed characters who weren't throwing their foreign culture or their sexuality up your face. It's crazy because these racist producers of back then did a better job than these woke ones of today. You could go to the store also and not see these unrealistic, unrepresentative, stereotypical mixed families just thrown into your face. It just seems ingenuine. And it just seems like, yet again, you can't get any real representation without the people on top just getting it all wrong. It's so ingenuine. It's so poorly done, too. Like, you can tell it's a white person. It's not real representation. It's exploitation. And that's part of the reason why it bothers me. I know I can't be the only one who's noticed this. I just can't be the only one who's noticed this. It's so in your face. And I refuse to believe that I'm the only one who's noticed this. Especially if you're non-white and non-straight. There's no way. I live in the same world that you do. And it makes me uncomfortable. That I'm watching these characters who are supposed to represent me and people like me act like nothing like people who are like me. It's so clear. Again, it's so clear that it's white people writing these scripts and writing these, whatever these actors or models follow, right? It's so clear that it's white people doing it. It just comes off so bad. Like, I don't know. It's kind of funny to think about because, you know, there's this white director or this white scriptwriter somewhere who took like 3 years of Spanish in high school. And in the script for that Latin character, they're using like the only 5 words that they know in Spanish, which is like what? Tia, abuela, and all this other stuff. It's, I don't know. But yeah, I think this cultural awareness stuff, we've pushed it too far to the point where it's not cultural awareness anymore. We're beyond culturally aware. We're culturally down your throat. And this diversity, it's representation, sure, but not of what people are really like and what things are actually like out there. It's one thing to have a person who is non-white and non-straight on screen, and it's another thing to have a person who's just non-white and just non-straight on screen. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Stay safe, and thanks for listening.